going on, everybody? This is Dave from This Is Punk Promotions. I'm here with Waiver Wire from Westminster, Massachusetts. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. Let's jump right into it. So when and how did you guys form?
Oh, that's a story with many endings.
Long story.
The short version is like this version of the band is in its infancy. We're like a week old. The band's been around since 2018. We've been through a few lineups in that time. And this is our most recent iteration. We're kind of starting things a little new in 2021 with a little bit of a remix. But the band Waiver Wire in some form or another has been around for about 3 years.
Very cool. So you guys released Hold Your Applause last February. How's the response been?
Pretty solid. It kind of, I don't think it really ever got the legs that it could have because of the pandemic and everything. We released it literally weeks before everything shut down. So like all of our gigs and everything that we were intending to promote it at, were canceled, but we're far from unique in that regard. Obviously it's been hard for everybody. So overall it's been good. The purely digital online response that we've been able to get has been pretty solid. I don't think not that anybody would necessarily say negative things to your face, but I haven't heard any.
Very cool. So who do you guys record it with, and how's the process?
We did it with Alan Day from 4 Years Strong, the ginger guy from 4 Years Strong. And yeah, it was awesome. We went in with demos. We went in with songs that we had written. And he kind of took them and he was like, well, we can do this, we can do that, we can make these songs, a whole lot more than what they are. And he used all of his many years of expertise and everything to really help us kind of push the songs over the hump and get them to what they are on the record, which we're really proud of.
That's sick.
Thank you.
So you guys are from Westminster, Massachusetts. How's the scene there? Do you have a favorite venue, a favorite local band?
We're based out of Worcester. Westminster is where I live, which is a small town outside of Worcester. So Worcester is like our city, our urban hub, and it's kind of taken a little bit of a downhill turn in the last few years. A lot of places have closed, but there's a couple places that still hang on. There's a place called Ralph's that's been there for a long time that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. We play there quite a lot. And then Boston's a short ride up the road, so we can play in Boston too. We played, pretty much anywhere in New England is a fairly reasonable drive. So we've played all over the place.
It'll be interesting to see what places are actually open once live shows become a thing again. So
yeah, we've lost a few.
We'll see what happens
in this area.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So who are your biggest influences?
The influences question.
That could be an hour in itself. We're a pop punk band. We listen to a lot of the old, Blink-182 and I listen to a lot of Fall Out Boy and stuff like that, but we're also influenced by the newer stuff, Neck Deep, Real Friends, Story So Far. And I'm just kind of speaking personally, like I said, these guys are pretty new to the band. So what they listen to and their influence really hasn't even been kind of shown yet in what we do. That'll be what we're working on this year. You'll hear the new version of, what these guys bring to the table and how it changes our sound.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're really excited. I know Zach and Mike are going to bring a lot of great things to the band, and Zach has a lot of experience with other kinds of music like country and all kinds of stuff. So it'll be really cool to see what other influences we can kind of bring in. We were talking about maybe some electronic drums with Mike just last week. So yeah, so hopefully all kinds of stuff.
So now I'm going to ask you guys some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you. I did this with other bands that I interviewed. Are you ready?
Yeah, this will give someone other than me a chance to talk.
First one, favorite sports team?
I'll start. We're from Boston, or from the New England area, so I'd have to say the Red Sox. I follow all the Boston teams except the Patriots. I hate the Patriots.
Well, I'm a Patriots guy, so
all right.
Agree to disagree, but no,
we'll be button heads come September.
The Patriots, yep. I've always been a Patriots guy through and through, so I know. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Yep. I do like the Red Sox too. So I mean, I love Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots. I'm a hometown hero. So Bruins.
Mhm.
Gotta support your local teams.
Yeah, you have to. I have to.
I don't think
How
the
about
other
you,
guys.
Zach?
I'm not the biggest sports guy, but I probably enjoy the Celtics the most. Just like pure nostalgia, like just watching KG and Ray Allen. Of course, Paul Pierce, like that was a huge run, a number of years ago, and I was there for it. And I just remember seeing, it was most about like the community of like watching the games with your friends and, being excited because the team was doing so great. And there was a lot of personality on that team, with Big Baby and Nate Robinson.
Forgot about Big Baby.
I think that's a commonality in Boston sports period is you get these larger than life figures a lot of the times because our teams are so ingrained in the history of sports. So we're lucky in that sense. Boston always brings it, whether the good or the bad, we still bring it.
Mhm.
I'm not a big sports guy either, but I do work in Foxborough, and that's where the Patriots are located. So I feel like I kind of am obligated to watch the games, so I can make sense when I'm talking at the water cooler. Also, Worcester just got their own AAA baseball team. Is that right, Josh? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's the AAA affiliate of the Red Sox. the
Yeah,
Worcester
so
Red
they're
Sox.
called the Woo Sox, I guess. So
Yeah,
I might check out
Worcester
some of
Red
those
Sox.
games this summer. It might be cool. They just built a brand new stadium here in Worcester, so it might be cool.
Yeah, I used to see them in Pawtucket. They used to be based in Pawtucket. They just recently built the stadium up in Worcester. So a lot of good memories down in Pawtucket. We used to go down there and watch the baseball games all summer long. $11 a ticket used to be. I'm sure inflation, $15 a ticket. But I mean, you could sit right up front and see all the guys that came down from Boston, go to rehab, work out their arms and stuff like that. It was great. It was a great time. So,
Yeah, my parents used to take us to Pawtucket a lot when I was a kid too, because the
Yeah.
games are so cheap. It's so expensive to go to Fenway and see a game, but you can go to Pawtucket and see the next best thing for, like you said, $15 or whatever. And I don't
Yeah.
think the Woo Sox aren't really supposed to be that much more expensive. I definitely am going to be down there as much as I can, checking out games. I want to be there when Chris Sale does his rehab starts this
Yeah.
year, because you get a
Yep.
cheap front row ticket to a big league star without having to pay the price. And like you said, you get to sit right up front. So I'm really excited that they're bringing minor league sports back. But when I was a kid, the Ice Cats were the huge thing. They were the minor league affiliate of the Scratch.
Yeah.
They used to do 4 for fries. If they scored 4 goals, you got a free dollar menu fry from McDonald's, which looking back isn't really the huge reward that it seemed to be when you were a kid. But ever since they left, Worcester kind of didn't have the same sports scene that it once did. So I'm glad that some legitimate sports are coming back.
That's awesome. So if you could go back in time and talk to one world leader, who would it be?
World leader. Somebody else should answer that first. I got to think about it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever been asked something like that before.
No, that's the first. I don't know.
Yeah, I keep thinking of people. I'm like, oh no, wait, he was a scumbag. He did this shitty thing.
I think any world leader, period, full stop.
Yeah, I guess.
Really? I mean,
I would really want to talk, if I could speak Latin, I'd really want to talk to Julius Caesar. I'm a big history guy, and I really love ancient history, and so Caesar was this huge pivotal moment in Roman history, of course, but in the bigger scheme of things Western history, he completely upended the rule of law and order in the known Western world, and it was just one guy, and it was part of it was his ego, part of it was him trying to do the best thing he thought But it was just like I read about him and I was like, man, this guy's crazy. Like he was smart, but he was also brash at times, and it's just like, okay.
I think if I could talk to any world leader, probably President Carter. If I could go back in time and talk to him when he was in office, because and maybe this is nostalgia because I was like a little kid when he was president, but I just thought he was a great president and he didn't really get a fair shake, and he was in there just for 4 years, but I just remember the guy was just like so far, he was so way ahead of his time. Like he talked about putting solar panels on the White House. This was back in like the late 70s, you know what I mean? So he was way ahead of his time. And I don't know, just if I could go back in time and talk to him, give him some advice, so maybe he'd get a second term, I think things would be, maybe a lot different. I don't know.
Yeah. He's like 95 or something now. He's like can barely stand, and he still builds houses for Habitat for Humanity and stuff.
Yeah, he's still going pretty strong.
I honestly can't answer that.
Yeah, I mean,
if there's a stump the musician section, you've got me, because I honestly can, like, my head is spinning. I can't think of anybody, honestly.
I think Zach's answer is the best one. Just any world leader.
Yeah.
Stop, like, I mean, because they're even the bad ones. You can learn things from their mistakes.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I'd really want to be in a room with Hitler at any point in my life, but
Right.
I'm sure I could learn something of, probably things not to do.
Exactly. Like, my gears are turning. My ears are probably smoking. But I just can't physically come out with anything that's like good. Like, I could probably come up with 30 things, but nothing good, that I could like back up or like have anything further to say. So if you ask me like, what musician would I want to meet? Obviously Jim Morrison. I mean, that would probably be the pinnacle of meeting a musician. That I could answer, but like a world leader, you stumped the drummer.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like that was an awesome question. That was an awesome question, because I honestly can't answer that. So
His goal is to get no answers out of us.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was the single most the toughest question I think I've ever had to answer. And so
wow,
awesome, Dave, because you got me.
If you could be fluent in another language instantly, what language?
Oh, that's easy. That's Italian. That's an easy one. I would love to be fluent in it.
Yeah, I'd say Italian or French. I took a couple of years of French in high school, and I can't speak a word of it. It's like so hard with like you got to conjugate verbs, and they've got like male and female versions of everything. Like I feel like I'd have to spend a lifetime learning it, but I wish I could, because it's a really nice sounding language.
I would really love to learn Arabic or be fluent in it. It's just like I've gotten to go overseas a couple 2-3 times to the Middle East, and it's just like I want to participate more in that culture and in everyday life. And the language is it's I learned some Hebrew back in the day in like Hebrew school, and like there's they share kind of similar roots, but Arabic was just kind of like the prettier version of Hebrew. It was the more stylized version, if you will. And like, they have like such great sayings, and it's such an old language. And it's kind of like Spanish, where it's like different from region to region, country to country, has their own sayings. And I just would love to order like a falafel and not look like a jackass.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, you've got some like well thought out answers to this stuff.
Yeah. Falafels are good too.
Yeah,
I love those things.
Best meal of my life, short story, was in Amman, Jordan. We got falafel like late night. It was like super cheap, and we were listening to Rust in Peace by Megadeth, that album, and like driving through downtown Amman, like eating falafel. And I was like, if anything tastes better in this world, it probably would kill me, because like I'm already almost at that level. It was just like unbelievably good.
You're making me really hungry. Would you rather have super strength or speed?
Strength. because I would be jacked and I'd look great. And the abilities aside,
I would have to go with speed, just because I play drums and I think speed would be super awesome to just sit behind a kit and just go ape, you know.
It's like
Just to sit there and go Roadrunner behind a kit would be totally awesome.
probably be like imperceptible to the human ear.
Right.
The rest of us, it would just sound like a big thud.
Right. Just and I would just blast it. I think that would be super cool. You know.
As much as I would want strength, I think speed would be more practical because like you get stuck in Boston traffic or you want to go visit your friend across the country and time is, extremely valuable. So it's like that 13 hours traveling, if I could cut that down to 13 minutes.
That'd be awesome. You have no commute to work.
Yeah.
It's like you're home, you're there.
I mean, to be fair, my commute to work is already like under 3 minutes.
That's 3 minutes you could save yourself every day, or 6 minutes back and forth.
Jealous.
I would definitely want super speed for sure. I'm a huge fan of like Spider-Man and those kind of superheroes because I feel like agility and speed are more important than strength because, and I'm about to get nerdy, like if Spider-Man's fighting like the Hulk, the Hulk's like one of the strongest superheroes there is, but if you can't hit him, it doesn't matter, because he's so fast and he's so agile. So I definitely, not that I'll be fighting the Hulk, but still, I would like super speed. I think it's better.
Very cool.
I'm outnumbered.
I like to have both, but I mean, if I could pick one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Some
to
of them get lucky and they just got all of it. Like, that super serum that Captain America took just gave him everything. Like the dude's just like set.
50-50 split would be great, but I like to be fast and buff. That's like both worlds. But I mean,
Now you're getting greedy.
Yeah, I mean, how cool would it be to just be like, check this out?
Yeah,
I did that. That'd be awesome. But beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
All right, last question, guys. What are some places where you guys are at with that visitors should check out?
some stuff around us, like tourist spots.
Yeah.
In central Massachusetts, very little. There used to be a place called Hagen's Armory in Worcester that had a bunch of old like suits of armor from like the Middle Ages and stuff, but they just like closed it up one time. Like the building's still there. I'm pretty sure all the armor is still there, but they don't let people go in anymore.
It's actually in the Worcester Art Museum now. They
Oh,
have
is
the whole
it?
collection. Yeah, yeah.
What do they get? Because the building looks like a castle. Like it's pretty
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
just sitting there. Like I don't think it's like it's just rotting.
Yeah, it was like one of the bigger collections of armor in the entire world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of Worcester Art Museum actually has the largest Roman fresco in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I've been there, but I didn't know.
Yeah, that separate room with the Roman mosaic.
Mhm.
That's the largest preserved, like, ancient mosaic in this hemisphere.
Wow.
Right in Worcester, like.
Yeah, no, the Worcester Art Museum is like pretty boss. I'll be looking at art books, and all the time I'll see a painting or something like, oh, I've seen that. I've stood in front of that because it's in Worcester.
Oh wow.
Yeah. What else we got around here? Purgatory Chasm,
Yep.
kind of cool.
I mean, if you talk about Boston, which is a short drive away, I mean, you got to see Fenway Park. There's plenty of museums there. There's the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. There's the Boston
Which
Museum
is
of
famous
Fine Arts. The Heist.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
biggest-
just made a Netflix documentary about that.
Yeah, the biggest art heist in the world.
I used to live down the street from the first Dunkin' Donuts in the country.
Classic.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. When I worked construction, I used to go there every morning at like 5:30 in the morning to get my like coffee before work.
Hey.
And it was like such a dumb thing because the first time you go, and obviously it's a cool thing, but then the 800th time you are there, it's like, I want to die.
It's just being at Dunkin's.
Yeah.
Does it look any different, or does it just look like a Dunkin's?
Cooler. It's a little cooler than a Dunkin's. It was in Quincy off like Furnace Brook Parkway, I think. And it's just a little fancier. They have a plaque, but they still serve like crap,
Mhm.
But I think in Worcester too, there's Moore State Park, which is in Paxton.
Paxton.
Yeah, Paxton. Yeah.
Has the largest, like one of the largest rhododendron collections, or like concentrations of rhododendrons in the New England area. So like when it's time to bloom, that place is like lit up, all sorts of colors. Really cool.
There's also a functioning water wheel there.
Yeah.
So if you want to grind some grain or cut some lumber, that's where you go, man.
We've got Old Sturbridge Village too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You want to go back to the 1790s or whatever it is.
Back
think
in time.
They have a water wheel there too, if I remember right.
Yeah, they probably have like plenty of simple machines to go around.
Yes. I think we've sufficiently sufficiently convinced anyone not to come to New England.
That's the thing about like New England. Like, I think the biggest attractions we have, or like our biggest X factor, is our history. Like it is so
Yeah, like Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill and stuff. Yeah.
I last or 2 years ago, I hiked the Lexington Concord Trail, and it was like amazing. It's like to think that people did that, and there's like graves of British soldiers and like Americans like along the way, of like guys who died like during that stuff, and it's like, damn, there's like dogs taking a piss right there, and like Johnny Appleseed like fought the British like not there.
Oh yeah, we have that too. The birthplace of Johnny Appleseed
That's
is
right,
in Leominster.
Yeah. That's up by you, Josh, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Good
like
old
a
Johnny
billboard
Appleseed.
on the highway. I think that's about the extent of the way that's marked.
I'm actually related to Johnny Appleseed on my mom's side.
Really?
Yeah, because his last name is like Chapman, and
Oh.
and that's on my mom's side. He lived in Connecticut for a while. That's where my mom's family's from.
Your claim to fame.
Hey, I called it out, every time I can, because why not?
Name drop.
They say also that Johnny Appleseed not only planted a bunch of trees, apparently he had like hundreds of kids. Apparently he was like the American version of, Genghis Khan.
So he was very good at spreading seed.
Yes, he was spreading seed in more ways than one.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on and chatting up a little bit. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and this Punk Promotions.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
thanks for
man.
having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's always good to do
Definitely.
stuff like this and make connections with people and help each other out.
For sure, man. We'll talk soon. I hope you guys have a great night.
All right, you too, man.
Dude,
You too. Thanks.
Later.
see ya.